Hello, everyone, and welcome to Alumni Insights video podcast by BNMIT. Today, we have our esteemed guest, Sankalp Harish, who's been in the automotive industry as a part of Mercedes-Benz for the past decade. My name is Rushi, and I'm an EC student in the third year of BNMIT currently. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Rushi, for having me here, and also the management and the staff of BNMIT. And feels good to be back here after a long time, actually.
We had to mention he graduated from BNMIT in 2015. So most of us watching, it's over a decade. It's been a decade since.
And that's probably you guys who would have been in school by the time I had already passed out of BNMIT.
Right.
So yeah, it's been quite some time.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess the first and foremost question would be, why and how did you get into BNMIT?
Yeah, so engineering was always in my mind since my school, because I was always someone who would meddle with things and all, keep modifying my toys and breaking it open and so. So engineering was always in my mind. And second was electronics was something I was always attracted to.
Okay.
And then also the other fact was that I stay close by, and BNMIT was also quite positive on the distance aspect. Parents wanted to also get me into somewhere close by so I could commute easily.
Makes sense.
And then also I had got some good feedback about the faculty here at that time. So yeah, that's one of the factors which made me come into BNMIT.
So Sankalp here had probably joined BNMIT in 2011. That's your course. And
around 2011 and then passed out 2015. So yeah.
Apart from it being close, what more did you learn about BNMIT throughout your time here? How was your experience, and is there any key projects and stuff that you did?
Yeah, so there were some things which went along with me. I also am a keyboardist. I am into music from a long time, much before I joined BNM.
So you knew
Kala Bhagirathi, and Dr. NRP and all was quite some things we aligned with, and then got some chances to also perform here, and that was also a good thing. Something
good exposure.
Yes, that I have to be actually quite happy about my time in BNMIT.
Okay. So throughout the courses, the first year is obviously combined subjects for all of us. And I presume in second year, you got into electronics.
Yeah.
What stood out to you that made you, choose a career path ahead?
Yeah, so I was already passionate about electronics much before my college time. And even in my PU, I had taken electronics as an it's out of my own choice. And then here again, I think I think it's in the third semester or fourth semester where we start off with the subjects like logic design and so.
Makes sense.
And these were all of my pretty much high interest to me.
Right.
And we had a good time here. I think I should be acknowledging the professors. I still am good friends with many professors even now. So yeah, it was a nice experience actually.
We should keep in mind to keep contacts with our professors, because that'll come handy later.
Yeah, it was a quite. I think I can relate to a lot of professors whom I've been in constant touch. And then we've had a good time both in terms of the class or the academics, as well as doing some extra stuff like projects and stuff. Yeah, so subjects like logic design and allow electrical circuits and all, that is something I spent a good time with, especially in the lab.
Right.
Because even at home I had a mini setup of mine where I would meddle around components, and even today, as of today, I still have a good set of components with me, and keep doing some hobby projects and stuff. And back then, the Arduino, Raspberry Pis and all.
The beginner boards.
Favorite. And now, of course, it has evolved into much bigger boards from NVIDIA and all, where people are experimenting with parallel computing and all those things. Yeah, but back then, yeah.
So you've always been a hands-on experienced person.
Yes.
Wants to go to the laboratory, tinker with things.
Yep.
Right.
Academically, I would not call myself the best guy. I was somehow making it through.
Right.
But yeah, when it comes to hands-on, I was always a guy who would learn more by doing than by reading and studying. So that's about me actually.
Right. That is fantastic, because we all know now practical experience and actually working with things helps you more. It lets you grow as a person rather than sitting and going through theory. So that must have helped you a lot.
Of course, theory is also important.
It is.
It gives you the fundamentals where you begin from.
Right.
And then your hands-on will take you forward to where you can get. So it's a mixture of both.
Makes sense.
So probably I'm not someone who would have scored 100 out of 100, but I still learned enough to get me through with the hands-on. So you cannot do with both. You cannot completely avoid one and then do the other. So that will
pretty much holistic development.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So throughout this course, I believe when you chose EC and you knew what you were choosing first of all. So what made you find your passion? What made you go to the automotive industry?
Yeah, so from back in my school days, I was always into transport, be it cars, trains, buses, anything that would move. I always had a thing for it. So even my parents or at home, they used to give me such chances where I would actually sit and meddle around with toys like my cars and all those things, remote control cars and so. And that somehow always from a kid, I used to say I want to be a mechanic or I want to work on cars, and this is how it started. And somehow I got the chance and the exposure to always be around these things, be it tinkering with my own vehicles or uh, considering this as a profession in the future and all that. So throughout my engineering, I was very specific that I would be in at least the transportation industry, if not the automotive industry. So this was where I shaped up my career choice from. So that's how my engineering went by. So by the time of the final year, I was very specific that I would work at least in the embedded transportation industry. And since I had taken electronics and communication, pure software was not my thing, nor mechanical.
Right.
So somewhere around embedded software and then circuits, and so that was where I wanted to be in.
Okay, that's good. You actually answered one of my questions. I was going to ask, since it's transportation and it's back in 2011, I feel like most of the people would have presumed that Sankalp would move towards mechanical engineering, maybe, develop actual hardware for the cars itself. But the fact that you chose EC must have given you a good ground up there.
Yeah, in fact, another aspect is that I was sitting on the fence between mechanical and electronics. Also, I had joined another college for mechanical engineering for a week.
Okay.
Then somehow it made me switch to electronics and communication after a week, but that was not due to the subject itself, but I had got second thoughts about it.
Okay.
So,
Well, I guess, you have no regrets now?
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any regrets so far. And electronics again,
Stays that way.
yeah, it should. Otherwise, your goals will typically you should have it, and you should have a firm goal in mind before you can actually
Yes, that's true.
move ahead in your career. So, yeah, electronics was always my thing. Then transportation. So I had made up my mind that I would probably not do a 9 to 6 job of only working on some code or so.
Right.
And I would be
No offense to CS engineer.
yes. But on the other hand, I still spent my decade in automotive software development. So that is again a jump from where I was in my electronics and communication days, but it is mainly embedded software.
Right.
So it has a lot to deal with the electromechanical part, dealing with watt actuators and actuator control and so on. So yeah,
IoT based.
yeah, it's like a mix of everything actually. So
Right.
yeah, that's what I do also.
So it's like you started off with EC and now you branched out into such a huge place where you get to apply.
Yes, yeah. I think that is inevitable.
Right.
So your subject or your branch choice never defines what you would do in the future. It all depends upon your passion and how the industry progresses. Because what you might feel is trending today, it will not be the same a few years down the line. So
That's true.
you will inevitably end up switching your day-to-day activities.
I mean, we saw how ChatGPT is exploding.
Yeah, growing. Yeah. So you can't really bank on anything to be like your complete life. That's never going to happen.
Next.
So similarly, I got into computer programming for autonomous driving systems. So after that, it has been software. And right now, I am into a little bit of systems. So I don't completely do software, but I also define system behavior and how things work and so on.
Right.
Yeah, that's how it is actually.
So since your childhood, you were sure about your passion, and it just became better and better as you progressed through BNMIT and the undergrad phase.
Yeah.
So have you done your master's or not?
No, I didn't actually. So
Okay.
it was it was out of coincidence, or should say, things fell into place at the same time.
Okay.
I wrote my GRE, and then right very next day or so, it was my recruitment in Mercedes. Okay, so then the GRE plans went into the shelf. Yeah, regarding masters,
we'll come back to the Mercedes interview in a few seconds. Okay, I know you guys are keen about that as well.
Yeah, in terms of masters, so like I said, it was due to my very strong desire that I want to be in this certain industry that wanted me to do masters.
Right.
Like I said earlier, I'm not a very academic person who would go deep into studying further. I was pretty much done with engineering, to be honest, and I wanted to already get my hands dirty and then start working on something
in the industry. Yeah.
But the only fact what actually pushed me into that was like, at least back in 2015, automotive opportunities in India were quite low.
Right.
Very few companies, a handful of companies were actually working on automotive software or even development, R&D.
Right.
So there the obvious choice was to go to Germany and do a master's there, and then get into such a company, any automotive company. And owing to this, I finished my GRE, and then somehow I had got an opportunity to take part in a recruitment drive here in Mercedes. And then after that, I was selected. And for me, the goal was met actually. So
Right.
at least I got into a place where I wanted to be in. And then I realized that somehow I can make my way through. And only if it is really compelling me, I would do something about the studies part.
So at that point, your passion met success through luck. It's like the opportunity came in at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
So you were like, I'm not letting go.
Yeah, it happened like that because it was not very common back then.
Right.
And then I took it up. And also for me, settling abroad for my entire life was something which I was against. So I was always wanting.
You want to come back and pay homage to the country.
Yes,
makes sense.
more than that, I had my opinion about staying back here. So that's the reason. Also, this met that opinion as well. So that's the reason I opted out of studying further after my engineering. And so far it's been good.
Okay.
Say.
So if you said you wrote GRE the next day, and then after that you got in the recruitment drive. Just in case for the viewers who are here who are still worried about MBA or masters, like Masters of Science and MTech and stuff, if you wrote GRE, what did you write it for? As in, like, which course and what would you go ahead with?
Yeah, I was looking for courses in mechatronics or embedded software. Basically, Germany has some good universities which actually focus on courses for electromechanics, and that is something quite unique compared to the regular computer engineering or electrical engineering courses. So I was looking for that actually. So I had kept a few universities in mind back then. So I think one was Karlsruhe and then Munich. And these are the typical universities where you have high chances of getting into automotive or any other pure embedded industries.
I mean, we know Mercedes is from Germany.
Yeah, of course. So that was also the point that maybe some good automotive company would come and recruit there.
Yeah.
So that was the plans to write GRE for.
So it was a long-term goal of getting to your path.
Yes. Eventually, I wanted to get in here.
Yeah.
So, and that's what was the plan. But then the life had other things for me the very next day. Or
you keep working hard, and eventually life will be like, you know what, bless you.
You cannot really tell. You have to put your efforts into realizing your goals.
Right.
And the path is something which it's not in your hands.
Right.
So it could have been the other way around also. A lot of my friends have done that. They have done their masters in Germany and then they got into automotive. So I don't know if path is completely under our control. But the efforts and the passion you put into the subject is definitely into our control.
Fate and other things, they're going a little low.
We'll come back to that. Yeah, sure.
So, okay. So that was your journey through masters, and okay. So you spoke of the recruitment drive. How was that? How was that experience there? And I'm sure you have some factors that you cannot give out, but you can probably give an overall overview for the students who are watching this.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much an off-campus drive, and there were a lot of people, I think around 200 people. Right. And then finally around 9 was selected. So, and it was some 5 rounds of grilling. The first few rounds were the typical...
it's like about 5% of the students who went there.
Yeah, typically that much. Yeah. And then it was quite good. At least the initial rounds were all about your aptitude and then group discussion and stuff. And then later on, it went to the technical stuff.
Right. Speaking of group discussion, we have this course called Super 16 in our college.
Okay.
And actually, to get into that course, I had to go through a round of group discussion. First was aptitude test. Then there was a group discussion. Then there was an interview with the dean directly. So they're kind of preparing us for the industry at this point. So
that's good to know.
Yeah. So I've had my first group discussion. Can you explain about how it was on your end and what you do at least?
From group discussions, the main takeaway is how well you can collaborate with a set of unknown people around you, because it's not like you chat with friends like on a daily basis.
Right, you meet new people.
You meet new people, and you have to somehow, and at least for the sake of passing the group discussion, you have to appear positive, you have to mingle with them,
right,
and still convey your point. That is the most important aspect,
because it's handled in a polite way.
Yes, in a polite manner. You have to be humble enough, but you to stand out or to make your point well heard, you should do also some background research about the topic. You can't simply say something for
As
the
I
sake of
walk
it.
in and
No, never. So that is one tip also.
Right.
Like in group discussions, if you already know the topic and you're given at preparation time, you should do that deep preparation that is needed, because that is what will put you apart from the observers, because the observers don't know you. They don't have an idea about who you are and what it is.
it's like a first impression you make.
Yeah, so you should make that impression quite well heard, and you should definitely talk about. You should show that you have put some effort into it,
Right.
and also that you are, you should make your point in a very well mannered tone. Like not completely opposing someone, but you should pick where they stop from, and then you should put your point in a very smooth manner, so that
It's a very diplomatic area where you have to
so that's what they link into.
friends make enemies at the same time.
Yeah. You can, of course, be a little critical as well. That also would be appreciated by a typical observer.
I guess it also depends on the work you're applying for, because
Yeah.
you have to act the role.
Yeah, but to be honest, in general, in any company, if they are asking for group discussion, they are only looking for a collaborative behavior. So team, they are not really looking for the technicality of that,
Right.
but they are mainly looking for the like how much of effort you put into preparation and how well you convey your point. And it need not even be relevant to the field of work they are looking for. That never happens in any. So for any fresher interview, I don't think the technical depth will be very relevant to the field where you're eventually going into. That's
Right.
not the case, because from a fresher, you cannot expect them to know what you are supposed to do in the company.
Makes sense. So it's mostly soft skills.
Yes.
And then when you get to the final interview phase, that's like the technical aspect.
Yeah, exactly. So soft skills, and then how much of an effort you're going to put into new things, because what you have studied in the engineering is not always what you will be doing there. In very few cases, yes, in very few cases, especially at the bachelor's level, you would be doing something what you studied as a subject here in the company you join. So that's never the case. So in that case, what is mainly looked at is when you join a new company, how well you pick up what they are doing, and how much of an effort you can put to of course, there will be some guidance provided, that is for sure, in all companies, but how well you can actually do things on your own. Like, I'm happy when I give a problem statement to someone and next day I see that they have already put some effort, even though I was supposed to guide them. They have already put some effort, and if they come to me with that, I'm actually happy about that.
So it's all about initiative, it's about determination.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of passion at the end of the day. Because if you're working a job that you're not passionate about, you won't do any of this.
True, that's also true. I mean, you should be clear about what you want to do,
Right.
and then you should give your efforts there. That's definitely important.
Right. So a bit of insight for, I guess, students who are still questioning about their passion and where they want to start off. As we saw in Sankalp's case, he's been tinkering with things since he was a kid. So you can explore your own interests and look back at your past, learn from how you were as a kid, and analyze your entire life and figure out where you want to end up in the future as well. It's not difficult. It's not easy either. There's like a very gray area there, but you'll all get it done eventually. There's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, everyone has their own
Domain, and
they have their domains where you cannot really compete yourself against the rest of the crowd, saying that, oh, they're all doing this, why am I not doing?
Right.
So back then in 2015, I think VLSI was a big hit, and on the other hand, there was computer vision, and so and the trends keep on changing. Right, it's not always that the trend stays forever.
You have to be aware of the industry.
Yes, you have to be aware, and then you should do what you are good at. That's the main thing. And on the other hand, it's also our responsibility to be open to learning new things and keeping up with the trend. You cannot always depend upon your past to actually secure your future, at least in today's times. So that is not going to happen. So you should definitely put some effort to stay up, to keep your neck up in the water. Right. As and when it rises. So that's definitely
that's a really good point. Yes, you have to be there to tackle the situation.
Yes, definitely, because as of today, the technology is changing at a very rapid pace.
Yeah.
And keeping up with it is the biggest challenge in life, rather than anything else.
Right. You spoke about VLSI having a boom back then.
Yeah,
that's my interest, and I'm an AC student as well. So my domain is in VLSI.
Yeah.
And
like I said, it was a trend back then, and it is still going on. It's not like it's completely dead. It's like that, but it's like something else has caught the trend.
I mean, Moore's law is still
Transistors
keep multiplying.
It keeps increasing, and then that's the thing about technology today. So you have to find your passion and pursue it hard, and be humble, and also
Humble, yeah.
He's open to learning new things.
Right.
Because I can never say that, okay, I've done enough here and I'm pretty much strong. I have to always keep learning new things and catching up with what is changing in the industry and so on.
Ironically, as Sankalp mentioned, when you think you have learned everything in a particular place, you've definitely not. Yeah. You probably scratched the surface and you thought you stopped there.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to delve in. And that is actually the next topic we're going to go to, which is the fact that Sankalp has worked at Mercedes for the past decade, about. So the fact that he did so shows us how we also can explore a lot in the same domain for years together, not even years, you can say decades together at once. So just keep chasing your dreams, goals, and you'll get there. You'll start learning new things, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's true. I would agree with that.
So now that we've gone through the process of the interview and the group discussion and how that works, could you speak about your work experience, about how we spoke about this prior, and then you went to Germany, and how the environment was, the change, and
yeah, it was a good learning curve so far, especially interacting with people who have been much more experienced than you and then accomplished a lot. So mingling with them also, like I mentioned earlier about being humble, that is what teaches you being humble and also, open to learning. That's the main thing, because working in state-of-art facilities and in a very highly confidential world, when you go there, you get to know how much of advancement is there.
And not to forget, Sankalp has been working in R&D, so it is highly confidential.
Yeah, so it's quite confidential what we do there. But what I learned was it's quite a competitive world, and then people are also quite knowledgeable, and they still are open to accommodating people with who are still learning or who are not yet there, and so on. And that way, it was a good learning curve for me.
There's some very accepting culture.
Yeah, accepting culture, and I've got a chance to be in very deep R&D and in the whole testing arenas and all that. It's quite good, actually.
I feel like that's a dream come true for most of us ECE and mechanical students, looking at Mercedes.
Yeah, at least for me, it was a dream come true. Yes, for sure. Yeah, so that was good. And what I learned was that it was a takeaway that you should keep learning and, never give up on that part.
Right. That was a good conversation.
Thanks, Ruchi, and thanks to the entire staff for having me here, the management, everyone. So I think it's a good initiative to have alumni interacting with students, and all of us probably learn a lot. You at least get some benefit out of such a thing, and learn something about it. Yes.
Thank you for watching Alumni Insights podcast by BNMIT, and stay tuned for more episodes. If you have any questions, you can drop in the comment section below. We can have Sankalp answer it as well. Thank you.